You look at the cards in your hands, thinking about what brought you to the situation. They aren't the cards you started with. Those were in an envelope pushed into your hands by the man bleeding out in the alleyway. He only managed to say, "Play them," before collapsing. You thought no one saw you. You didn't even think before tucking the envelope into your jacket and heading home. Yet, the next morning, an envelope was pushed under your front door, containing a letter and a single wooden match.
Congratulations! You are invited to join the game. The rules are simple. From time to time, you will see a rack containing a card. When you do, take the card from the rack and replace it with one of your own. Which card you choose will determine events. Make it to the end of the game, and there will be a generous prize collected from people betting on the outcome. If you wish not to participate, go to the balcony and use the match to burn the cards and this letter.
You actually went out to the balcony before deciding, looking at the cards that were in the envelope. The strung-out junkie. The irate customer. They looked like tarot trump cards, except with shadowy shapes of people for pictures. Generous prize held your attention, even though you didn't know what it was. The man in the alley apparently thought it was enough to bleed out over. You snapped the match in two and returned the cards to the envelope, and felt an urge for coffee to better absorb all this. The coffee shop wasn't terribly crowded when you got there, but the barista appeared to be having her hands full with a recalcitrant espresso machine. Rather than waiting in the line, you browsed the other options, such as the brownies and cakes in the display case, the biscotti in the basket, and the travel cups on the shelf. Behind one of the mugs, you found what looked like a Scrabble tile rack, but with no tiles. Instead, there was a single card propped on it. The caption read, "The Jealous Husband." It was your first card rack. You didn't know what would happen, but a strung-out junkie didn't sound like something you wanted to deal with first thing in the morning. You took the card from the rack and placed it with the irate customer. Within minutes, a Prada-equipped woman in line was screaming at the barista. Apparently, her time was too precious to be wasted by the girl's incompetence. The other customers kept an embarrassed silence. The barista was in tears. You decided to get coffee elsewhere. Nothing else happened before the evening. It was a Saturday, and you were free to go wherever you wanted. But the immediacy of the coffee shop experience unnerved you. You only barely know what you had gotten yourself into. You spent time at a bookstore but didn't see any card racks. Nor was there one at the pizza place where you had dinner. Perhaps, you thought, they didn't appear that often, and you were safe for a day. And living in anticipation was tiring. A drink sounded like a good idea. You could have maybe picked a less crowded bar on a Saturday night. But it was convenient, and you knew a few people that went there. You didn't see them, though. Nor did you recognize the bartender, but at least he could make a mojito. You took a sip, decided it was drinkable, and drifted toward a cocktail table. You got a glimpse of something behind the placard on the table. You moved it aside, and there was your next card rack. Standing in it was a card that read, "The Angry Pimp." You took that card and put the strung-out junkie in its place, thinking a bar was a reasonable place for one. Perhaps under normal circumstances, it might have been. But shortly after, you could hear the argument begin across the room. Then, the shooting. Everyone got down behind a table or a booth or another person. You didn't see exactly what was happening. You moved toward the staff door at the back. A waitress was cowering on the floor behind the end of the bar. In a fit of compassion, you took her arm and led her through the doorway with you. The two of you cut through the kitchen and were part of a spill of people that emptied into the alley behind the club. Some were running, some were busy on their phones, and some were trying to do both. All of them, including you and the waitress, got out of the alley and away.
She was still shaking a block down the street and got some composure. The two of you tried to laugh it off, but neither of you were quite there yet. The waitress said her place was close by, and that you'd be welcome to come up with her and get a drink with no shooting. You agreed, and shortly found yourself climbing stairs behind her. At her apartment, she said she wanted to change out of her uniform, and waved you toward the small bar while she headed to her bedroom. You started to relax. You'd had more excitement in one day than you had in a long while. You pick up a bottle of rum to look at the brand. Not too fancy, but behind it, you saw yet another card. Standing in it was a card that read, "The Corrupt Politician." You understood you weren't quite done with the game yet, or at least it wasn't done with you. And now you stand in front of the rack, looking at the cards in your hand. The angry pimp, the jealous husband. You hear heavy footsteps coming up the stairs.
Hey guys, this is Struggo, and this was Pick a Card by MorfusMax, performed by Gabriel, Apland. This one is one of those stories that you kind of just want more of, and a short story just doesn't quite cover it. Hopefully they give us more, and if you are looking for more, you can check out their work, Echoes of Home, on Wattpad. It's a completed work that's been enjoyed by readers like us over 2,000 times. This story and many others like it were from a prompt challenge that we host live on Twitch. This week's prompt was a story written in second person.